What's up, MØV community, and welcome to this month's MØV of the Month by your Boulder Chiropractic office, MØV Chiropractic Yoga. I'm Dr. Travis Stewart, and today I'm going to be going through one of my favorite movements for shoulder stabilization, the Turkish Getup. All right, so the Turkish Getup is a movement that uses multiple planes of motion, and it really brings the entire body into a dynamic stability mechanism or dynamic stability movement, and it's going to help with that reflex-driven stabilization mechanism of the shoulder joint by really forcing us to press the bell away, press the floor away as we move through multiple planes all the way through a dynamic movement or a dynamic range of motion from the ground to a standing position. We're going to break this down into 5 parts, and it's going to be the setup, the roll and press, the high bridge, the leg sweep or the low sweep, and then standing up. Let's get started. I'll meet you on the floor. So we're going to roll over into the fetal position, and we're going to grasp the bell with both hands, making sure that our elbow stays tight into our torso. Then we're going to reinforce our grip with our opposing hand. We're going to roll onto our back, making sure that our elbow stays tight to our torso to never put our shoulder in a vulnerable or a compromised position. Next, we're going to double hand press the bell up in front of our chest. We're going to release our opposing or a stability hand to a 45-degree angle. Our left leg goes out to a 45-degree angle as well. Now, the next component here is massively important, and we're going to allow our right knee now to fall slightly towards the midline. Okay, this is the angulation or the direction that we are going to be moving through the Turkish Getup. Okay, so the knee falls towards the midline. We press the bell away from our body, and we're going to go ahead and bring our attention into our left forearm and hand, bring our attention into the lateral edge of the heel of the down leg. Now that we have attention there, we're going to now push and roll ourselves into a 45-degree angle. Okay, so it's up towards the left opposing corner of the room, not moving straight up. Now that we're up on our forearm, we're going to press the bell towards the sky, press the floor away, and create as much space in between our forearm and the bell as we can, creating as much space in between our shoulder blades as we can. We pause here, we feel the engagement, we feel the length, we feel the tension that we're creating, and now we can start to use a little bit of momentum to pop up onto that hand. The hand should move back towards your back hip, and now it becomes your kickstand. Now we're going to press the floor away again, making sure that our trap doesn't end up by our ear. We press the bell towards the sky, again creating as much space and distance in between the down hand and the up bell as we can, feeling the engagement, feeling the tension. This is where the work begins. Now we're going to move into our high bridge. The high bridge, we're going to bring our attention into our down hand, our down palm, as well as our down legs, lateral edge of the calcaneus, as we feel that start to create a pulling friction with the ground or with the mat, and we feel the back side of the left leg start to engage. Now, this is what we're going to use to pull our hips up into the air. So let's pull our hips up into the air, driving them all the way towards the sky. So now our foot, knee, hip, and shoulder should all be in alignment. Don't allow yourself to sag here. Make sure that we're getting full extension of the hip joint, and we are pressing the ground away with that down hand, creating as much tension through the body as possible, pulling our skeletal structure apart as we press that bell high towards the sky. Now that we're in this high bridge and we've got all of our joints stacked in alignment, everything is engaged along the lateral and back aspect of the left side of our body. Now we're going to do our leg sweep. So we're going to bend that left knee and hip as we sweep the leg all the way under and post onto our knee, which is stacked under our left hip. And we want our toes tucked underneath us. And now our down hand is still very strong, supportive, and stable, pressing the ground away. The bell is pressing away, and our torso is nice and rigid, keeping our core engaged and intact. Now this next piece, we're going to lean back into the hip crease, and then we're going to sit up tall into a half kneeling position. Now we keep our toes tucked underneath us, we press the bell away, and we stack our rib cage over our pelvis. Great. Now this is a great place to really feel yourself in a stacked alignment of your rib cage over your pelvis, an overhead position, pressing the bell towards the sky, feeling your core and your belly tucked towards your spine, and you're in a strong and stable half kneeling position. The next piece of this, now don't make this too complicated. You're going to swing your right leg around until it's in line with your left foot. So we're just squaring the hips here, pivoting the front leg, not the back leg, keeping the toes tucked underneath us, loading the plantar fascia as now we go ahead and stand tall, extending the hip, meeting the feet, pressing the bell high towards the sky, and we have finished our Turkish Getup. Feel your rib cage stacked over your pelvis. Feel your base strong and stable on the ground, and press that bell high towards the sky. We have now completed half a rep. We're going to go ahead and rewind, and we're going to move from the standing position down to the floor. Congratulations. From the standing position, we're going to reverse. Step the left foot back. Reverse lunge. Tap the knee down. Open the gate in the hip. Hand taps the hip. Lean into the hip crease. Into this windmill position, press the floor away, press the bell away. We're going to do our sweep now back into the high bridge position. Here, press the hips all the way through, bell away, floor away. Sink into that hip, back into this tall seated position. Press the floor away, press the bell away. Let that hand slide away from the body as we move back down to our forearm post. Press the floor away, press the bell away. And now we're with control, going to roll our body back to the supine position. Now that we're here, we slowly lower the bell with reinforcement back to our chest, roll into that fetal-ish position, safely return the bell. That is our full repetition of the Turkish Getup. I do a full rep now from the left-hand side, just so you can see the difference from side to side. A few common mistakes that I see is that when we're setting up in the initial position, people tend to pack that scapula all the way back, which is okay for heavy load, but for this movement, we're using it as a corrective for the shoulder joint. Let's press that bell away, get some scapular protraction involved, and really get that dynamic stability mechanism of the shoulder joint working to its optimal level. Another piece that I see is whenever we do the roll and press, and people will try to sit straight up with the bell, that bottom leg kicks up big time. It becomes very challenging for them to come up into that seated position. So let's make sure that we're rolling at a 45-degree angle towards the top left corner of the room, pressing our chest through the window and the bell high towards the sky. That bottom leg should stay on the floor or very close to it, and you'll notice immediately how much easier that movement is. The next piece is in that high bridge. People have a strong tendency to sag into that hip and have crooked joint angles. Let's make sure that we keep the joint stacked in alignment. We press the hips all the way through to the sky. We're pressing the ground away, pressing the bell away. Another common mistake that I see is that when we get into that windmill position and we come up into that half kneeling position, people try to pivot the back foot instead of pivoting the front leg and kind of closing the gait. It makes it way easier if you close the gait with the front leg and keep your down foot loaded through the plantar fascia, through the toes, and through the posterior chain there. That way you can press straight through that rear foot to stand up with strength and fluidity. And then once you get to the top, press that bell high, stack your rib cage over your pelvis, and you've just done an awesome Turkish Getup repetition. Thanks for tuning in for our move of the month from MÖV Chiropractic and Yoga. I'm Dr. Travis, owner and chiropractor here. We hope this helps you hone in some of your movement patterns from home. If you enjoyed this content and this video, leave us a comment below, a like, subscribe, all of those things. It truly helps us out. But in the interim, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.